And I'm back. We're here to talk about. That was a bow and arrow. I don't know if that was good at all, but we're gonna leave that in because that's how we do. All right. So now that we got whatever that was out of the way, welcome back to Off the Cuff. We're back in the DC universe. We're looking at Arrow. I mean, we're counting down. And there's only like 8 episodes. We're really we're gonna be halfway through once I'm done with reviewing episodes 3 and 4. That's kind of what we're looking at today. Just an overview, more looking at the details of Crisis and kind of how it all ties in, and kind of a lot of the closing out. And that's a lot of what we're going to see in this last season, is people saying goodbye and kind of the journeys we've been on through these last 8 years. So it's exciting. I kind of like it. I'm not gonna lie. Episodes 3 and 4, it's kind of like the more you watch, the more involved you kind of get. Episode 3 was spectacular. I absolutely loved episode 3. Oliver's sister comes back, Thea, and they get to kind of have a chat. And Thea kind of gets to give Oliver advice this time around, and Oliver really gets to see how much Thea's grown over these years and kind of who she's become. And she kind of gets to team up with Talia, which is one of Ra's al Ghul's daughters, who was evil, tried to do a lot of stuff, and then was kind of doing some shady stuff throughout this episode, but winds up being good in the end. Or turning to the good side, or whatever you want to call it. And they kind of team up at the end, and they're going to create the League of Heroes instead of the League of Assassins, and kind of change the parameters there. So pretty interesting, or at least a closure or direction for that kind of story to take on. Because I think the show is going to continue, even though Arrow is closing. I think like the Mia, his daughter, Oliver's actual daughter. I know. Stay with me here. We're going through time trials, family trees and timelines here. But I think Mia is still gonna have like a show, and so I think Thea will tie into that somehow. So we'll kind of see how that. So I don't think we've seen the last of the League of Heroes or anything like that. So kind of setting up a future role for those characters, but also a good sweet goodbye. Oliver gets to kind of say goodbye to Thea, or at least have one final kind of heart to heart, just kind of them together. I'm sure they might see each other during Crisis, but there'll probably be a lot going on. But the big reveals for episode 3 was that they get an idea that Marvu, or the Monitor, I know I said that first one poorly, so forgive me. We find out that this is not the first time he's visited this Earth, and he's not to be trusted. I've kind of been saying this when doing the Flash reviews. It kind of seems like the Monitor is not all that the good guy. But that's yet to be fully revealed, so we don't really know. Oliver has just decided that there may be more to this than he really sees, and the Monitor may not have Earth's good intentions, all the way through. So he might start to question what's going on there. So that's kind of episode 3. There's some cool fight scenes in there, and some other stuff happens. You can go and check it out. I don't want to go through every detail. I just want to kind of go through the overlights. It was a really good episode. They get to go back to where the League of Assassins are. I tried practicing that name. See, I've already messing up. I'm not even trying yet, and I'm already messing up. Nandor Parbat. That was totally wrong. I know it is. Don't hate me, or do. It's up to you. But so they go to the League of Assassins kind of place where that kind of area, and that's where this all kind of happens because they went to go look for information on the Monitor, and they thought that the oldest kind of organization in the world would have some sort of information on gods or a people of Monitor's being has come to Earth before, and they might be able to find some information. Turns out that information was Monitor guy might not be so good. So that's kind of a wrap on episode 3. Episode 4 is kind of a weird one. This is where not a weird one, but time kind of jumps back and forth because in all kind of the episodes or seasons of Arrow, there have been flashbacks, or quite recently there's been flash forwards where they take time to either go back in Oliver's timeline and kind of discuss how he became Arrow, or now whether it's in the future with Mia, his daughter, and his son William, and kind of their journey and their formulation of a team and kind of what they're dealing with in Star City years after Crisis has already taken place and Oliver's out of the picture. They somehow come back in time to where we are now in Arrow in episode 4. He's back in Star City. He's kind of figuring things out. And really it's a chance for all of these fathers and daughters to kind of meet and interact with each other. But there's a lot of secrets going on. The big one being basically, let's see, there's a lot happening in this episode because there's a lot of storylines that kind of finally connect. So I'll do my best here. So we've got Mia and William, who are the daughter and son of Oliver. So we've got those two. Then we have JJ and I'm forgetting the other one. JJ is part of the Deathstrokes. He's kind of taken over the Deathstrokes. He's become evil. He's a Spartan son. See, this is what happens. I'll get there. I always come up with the name. John Diggle. See, I got it. So Diggle's son, JJ, he's the one that's with us now. He's the child that Diggle's had for the last few years. The other son is kind of an adopted son who is on the good side that helps Mia and William fight his brother JJ. His name I cannot remember. I do apologize. I will find it and put it up here somewhere so that the folks at home know who I'm talking about. Moving along. So we've got that going on, and then we also have so we've kind of got that team, and they meet up with Oliver's team, and it's kind of a collision there. And we find out some really interesting things. We kind of see how Mia has kind of related to not having a father this whole time, which is interesting, and that story kind of needs to be told, or that relationship needs to be mended there. But the big deal is they're trying to stop the Deathstrokes. The big thing with this episode is understanding that there may be a chance to fix the future if they start accepting that they can change it. A lot of them are dealing with this idea that no matter what's going to happen, Crisis will eventually come. There's nothing we can do about it. Oliver will have to give his life as the Green Arrow to stop it. And that's kind of how the story goes. And so it's kind of all of these characters realizing through seeing a lot of what happens to their kids in the future, a lot of the turmoil and a lot of the things that were never fixed or saved as they all thought that they had been trying to do. It's not been going their way. And so they kind of decide, let's stop trying to prevent what's going to happen and start making decisions for the future today. Basically, instead of just letting it be and saying no matter what I do, good or bad, this is going to happen, and I need to accept that. It is focusing on what you can do in the present and changing now, and deciding that will have effect on the future. At least that's what I got out of it. I don't know. It could be all BS. Who knows? Some big powerful themes. I might be reading way too much into it, but it is the final season of a show that's been on for 8 years. And they've always had some pretty powerful messages. It's been a relatively dark show. I mean, even starting off in season 2 with Oliver's mom being killed. I mean, we've had a lot of... he's lost a lot of people in this show, and they all have. All these characters have been through an incredible amounts of ordeals, and they continue to be. Diggle is a prime example of this when he finds out that his own son has turned evil and is out to do harm and has done harm to one of his teammates' kids. And he has to not only come to that realization, but also face this kid that he's supposedly taken in that may have been the cause of his son going down this path, and this quote unquote son lying to him throughout most of the time they're together in the beginning of what's really going on with his own kids. So I mean, Diggle goes through some really emotional stuff. He's also one of the only humans having to kind of deal with crisis, and he saw that world explode. He saw Earth 2 disappear, and we saw that in episode 2 how he was kind of reeling from that. And still kind of shocked, or kind of shocked that was going on. I mean, he's been reeling with this idea that he had to watch Earth 2 go, and how his decisions might affect the world around him, and how crazy this crisis really is. So I mean, really, whoa, or you don't. I don't know. I keep saying I know. But so really just good stuff. I think episodes 3 and 4, I mean, they're really trying to close out 8 years of what really started all of what we have on the CW, and with this rise of superhero fandom and everything that's come about. I mean, it's all over the place now. And this show was one of those beginners, one of those little sparks that kind of helped create a whole universe. So really cool to see. I'm excited to watch the next few episodes and close out Arrow. I'm also excited to get back to The Flash. That's my bread and butter. I love that show. I love The Flash. He's one of my favorites. I will say that time and time again. I am sorry, Green Arrow. I know, even though this episode is dedicated to you, I have to throw that in there. So it's good, guys. Go check it out. Episodes 3 and 4. The whole season's on Netflix. The last season of Arrow is already up on Netflix. I'm just trying to get them all through so I can watch Crisis and get that out there for you guys. And allow everybody else to kind of watch and check it out. So if you guys have seen episodes 3 and 4, comment down below what was your favorite parts. Did I miss anything? Was there any other cool plot points that are kind of going on? There's so much to cover because it's all leading up to such a big event. And I'm so excited to see where it goes. So comment down below what's your favorite episode thus far in season 8. Let's get to Crisis. Episodes 3 and 4, you did good. Let's try for 5 and 6. All right, guys. That's the review on or impressions or whatever you want to call it on episodes 3 and 4 of Arrow. I will see you guys next time for a whole slew of stuff, but probably more than likely more Arrow, Flash. I'm going to try and see if I can watch more episodes of Picard. I really can't stop thinking about episode 1. I have all of these movies behind me and TV shows to go through or to choose from. Comment down below what other TV shows or movies you guys would like me to come on here and rant about and just kind of jump all around. Entertainment, it's fun. I love cinema. We're in the golden age we truly are in the golden age of movies. In terms of variety and choice and options, whether it be TV, YouTube, movies, a little shorts. I mean, there's an all array of media, and I'm just excited to be covering it. All right, guys, once again, I'm Nick Wolf, and this is Off the Cuff. You guys have a good one.